Pennsylvania has been a pretty good place for me to grow up racing downhill because the East Coast has so many races. Almost any weekend you can go out and do a downhill race someplace on the East Coast. And although here in Reading there's not that great of downhill riding, it's very central to all the ski resorts on the East Coast and where all the venues are where the races are being held. So where we live, pretty much in either direction, north or south, there's 20 or 30 different race venues. And growing up here and having the opportunity to race almost every weekend when I was 16, 15, getting into racing, 14, 15, 16 years old, it was really good for me to be able to just get that racing experience under my belt. When I started racing downhill, it kind of showed me that it's less about what the guy next to you is doing and more about what you're doing. So after I got the experience of racing downhill, I knew that's what I wanted to do, and I haven't looked back since then. I swim up the high school, so in the off season I'm usually in the pool a lot, doing some training there. I have a really good place to get into my routine here at home. I have a really good gym that I go to, really good trainers I work with, some awesome cross-country riding. I can't get off that new slash I have. It's really fun to be out here and just go out on a group ride with all your friends and have a good time. Trek World Racing gives us the best support. We couldn't really ask for anything more. We're riding the best bikes with the best equipment, and the staff does so much too. It's really cool to know that how hard you're trying at this and how much effort you put into it. Those guys are doing the same thing. And when you win then, it's a team effort. It's not just you, it's everybody that earned that. This year I had my best result the first World Cup. I finished 14th in South Africa, and I was really happy with that one. My goal was to get in the top 20 going into the season, and I knew I could do it, but to be in the top 15 was pretty cool, and I really felt good about reaching my goal there. Sea Otter was good for me. I wasn't really expecting to get on the podium there. I knew I could do a strong ride, I knew I was fit, but I was pretty surprised to get on the podium with such a strong field. Almost all the World Cup guys were there, so to get 5th at Sea Otter was pretty good, I thought. All together to death. We're up in Port Angeles, which is a real track. Probably the first traditional muddy track we have of the year. Most of the same guys from Sea Otter were up there, and I finished on the podium again, which I was really happy with. It seemed like my season was just building, and each weekend my results were even impressing me. 2 U.S. Nationals we were going to do on the East Coast here, pretty close to home. And the one in Mountain Creek, the first one, I was just doing some practice runs with Justin and slipped my pedal and rolled my ankle over and ended up breaking a bone in my ankle and really stretching out the ligaments pretty badly. So that kind of put me off the bike for 4 or 5 weeks, which was just really bad timing. It seemed like it wasn't a season-ending injury, but 2 weeks before the second World Cup, when I was in the top 20 overall and really looking forward to keeping my strong season rolling, just came at a really bad time. I think the best way to handle some of the disappointing things that's been happening to me this year is just positive steps forward. It's really the only thing you can do. I think you just have to accept that sometimes things you don't want to happen, and it's more the way you react to it than what's happened. So if you can just make positive steps and focus on doing everything you can do to try and get back to where you want to be, that's really all you can do and the best way forward. Yeah, I think I'm a top 10 rider, just gotta show everybody else.
Press record, but only when the good times are rolling, not when you are lonely. If then erase and rewind, erase and rewind.
being able to talk to my mom and ask her advice on anything is really cool. Whenever something bad happens, she's always there to say it's going to be okay and talk about whatever it is that's bothering me. So it's really special. I'm really lucky to have that.
Take something positive from everything you do. You know, sometimes in the worst moments, or sometimes when things are not going at all how you want to, you learn more that's going to move you ahead somewhere in your life, more so than just always having successes. So getting through those tough times sometimes builds a lot more character and gives you a lot more worth than just dealing with the successes. And I'm sure it's hard, but tomorrow's another day.
Have Logan around is pretty cool. Yeah, he's always there too, you know. If something bad happens, he says, "Don't worry, Nico, you're gonna get back on top." My barber does a good job. Me and all my boys, we got the same haircut. I think that's, for me, the best way to improve is to make a plan on how I want to get to where I want to be, and then just follow that plan. So whenever there's a bad moment, if I can figure out the best way forward, take some positive steps, and eventually I'll get there. I'm Neko Mulally, and I race for Truck World Racing.